Is it visible?
Yes, Sumit.
So let us suppose there might be the scenario where we have to run my test case multiple times. If I open that Amazon website, suppose I want to run this test case multiple times, like I want to provide email and enter the name, and then I have to click on continue button. So one name, there can be 10%. Just suppose there are 10%. So how you can make this test case run 10 times? So one thing you can do, you can repeat the code. Like if I open the test case for the create account, here I am sending some name and the password, right? Some name and the, so let me do one thing. Suppose I want to run this test case 10 times. So what I can do, I can repeat the code. If I want to run it, I can repeat the code again and again. But better way to use it is we can use data provider annotation, which is provided by test engine. So how we can do? So I will write one data provider, and you will get to know that how it will work. So let me not fail the test case as of now. And let me put some wait after 2 seconds, and let me create one data provider. So how to create a data provider that will help us to run test case multiple times. So in the same class, I will say data provider, and here I will say public. I am giving some name to the data provider. Is get data. You can give any name. And here what I will do, I will create one array of type string, right? So it will have multiple, it is of two dimensional. So in the first 00, one person name will be there, like Sumit is there. And after that, other person, the email ID is Sumit. The email ID, let me write. After that, close the bracket, put one comma, and write another person, like Pankaj. And after that, email of Pankaj. After that, close it. After that, provide one more comma. Let me write line by line. After that, provide one comma and put other person name like Jalaj. And the email will be some dummy email. And one more test case is there. Suppose I want to run this test case for the fourth person. So I can say take dot com. So I have created one array. So where is the error? Let's check. So you can see inside this, save the project. And here what I will do, I will simply return this whole array. So I will say return. So it will say me to change the return type. Change it. You can see I have created one array. It is like at 00, Sumit will be present. At 01, the email of Sumit is present. At 10, Pankaj. At 11, email of the Pankaj. Likewise, this is the hierarchy. So whatever the data I need to run, now what I will do, so one error is coming. Okay, so provide semicolon after that. So where is the error coming? So Sumit at after that email, after that Pankaj, Pankaj email, Jalaj email. So if I save it, only one error is coming here. Okay, so one more we have to place after this, right? So this is ending and this is starting. And inside that we are having some data like this. So now if I want to run this test case with this data, one is name, one is email. So here on my test case, so forget about this commented part as of now. After this at the rate test, I will write data provider equals to get data. So this is the name I am writing, get data. In double quotes you have to write. So spelling is wrong. So data provider. So I am saying get data because this is the data provider name. And once I am running it, it will simply give me data one by one. First, it will give Sumit and the email. So let me create two variables inside this. Here I will create two variables. One is string name, string email. And here, instead of hard coding the data like this, I will say name, and here I will say email. So let me debug this program and let us see how it is working. So I will simply right click, debug as testng test. So now we are starting from here. So let me debug it. You can see when this test case will run first time, for the very first time, this method will help us to get this data. So Sumit and Sumit at the rate gmail.com. Both the name will fall here. Sumit at the rate gmail.com, and it will simply put both the names in the Amazon website. So if I run this, so here it will enter name and email for the first time. If I run it, you can see it has entered. It has entered the name and email, and also it clicked on continue button. So that is the reason you are seeing this error. It has also clicked on continue button, right? So after that, 2 seconds wait. And similarly, if I remove this, this one and this one, you will see it will enter. This test case will run 4 times with 4 different data set, right? These three are left. If I run it normally, you can see Pankaj email. After that, it clicked on continue button. So again, it has stopped here. Now if I run it, after Pankaj, both the names which are left will be. So after that, Jalaj, third person, and last person is Abhishek. It is again entered, and it is continue button. So this data provider is helpful in the case if you want to run your tests with the multiple data sets. So is it clear to everyone?
Yes, Sumit.
Okay. So now let us see. Suppose this is the Excel I've created only for explanation purpose. So some dummy names are given here, right? These are the names. Earlier we were getting the data from our class file, but now suppose our data is present in our Excel file. So this is the data. Now this data is present in our Excel file. What I want to do, I want to get this data from the Excel one by one, and I will have to run the test case 4 times. So which means we will see how to integrate data provider. Let me not write it here. So how to integrate data provider with Excel. So this we will see. So because we want to get this data from the Excel file and run the test case 4 times, right? So how we can do? So first of all, what I have done, I have created one test util class. If you see here, I have created one package. Earlier, yesterday, we have not done that. So today I have created one test util package inside our source test Java, and here I have provided the Excel code. So this Excel code we have already seen. Yes, in one of the class we have already seen how we can read the data from Excel. So in this code I have made some changes. So I will be explaining you when we will debug the program step by step. So it will give me the total number of rows, total number of column, and it will also help have one method which will help you to get the data from the Excel sheet. And here, if I talk about this test util, what is this class? Here in this class, if you see data provider, earlier I was creating the data provider here in my same class. If I let me just do one thing, let me comment this. If I comment this, if you see earlier I created the data provider here. So instead of that, what I can do, I can provide data provider in some other class. So the class, this is the test util class. Here I will provide the data provider. But now how this test case will recognize that we have to use the data provider. So for that, you have to write this line instead of this one. Instead of this one, what you have to write? This one. So it is saying that data provider class is this one, because inside this test util class we are having the data provider. So we are saying that data provider class is testutil.java and the data provider name is getData. So if you are placing the data provider in some other class, you have to define like this. Now if you run the test case again, you will get the same output. So if you do not want to put the data provider in the same class, then you can do also like this. So it will run again similarly. Again first Sumit, then other name, 4 times it will run. So you can fill out the rest of the field. Here I have left it empty. You can fill out the rest of the field, that will be same. So now it will run 4 times and it will stop after that. So this is how you can provide data provider in some other class, and just provide the class name here, that which inside which class where you are providing a data provider, and data provider name you have to mention. And as of now we are having only 2 data. If you see here, I have given only name and email, but the reason why I have given only 2 is because we are having 2 data. If you provide one more after placing comma here, like I can say phone number, right? Then you have to give 3 variable into the method. But as of now, we are only having 2. So that's why I have given only 2. Now our main concern is that I want to fetch the data from this Excel file and run my test case. So let me first comment this again. Comment this.
Sumit, in get data, right? How much data can you give? Like you mentioned, right? We can add near Sumit at gmail.com. You added some number as well, right?
Yeah.
So,
What
how
what you
much
want to
data
ask?
can you give like that?
Let me. What you are saying?
So, you mentioned, right, Sumit at gmail.com. So, nearby that, you said you can add another number. So, how much value can you add like that there?
See, it's up to your choice. If you do like this, then it will become 3-dimensional array. There is no limit, no
Right.
such limit.
Okay.
So if I just
Okay.
type print after that, so if I will run it, so now it will return me three types of data. So if I want to run it, I have to provide this one here as well. Like one is phone number. If I do not provide, it will throw the error. So make sure to, if I say phone number, and here I will provide one phone number because I do not have any method which will send the phone number. So you can create it later. Here as of now, I am printing it. Phone number. If I run it, you will see all the 3 phone numbers will be printed in output. You can do this activity of sending the phone number by writing one locator in the page object class. Here I am simply system dot generate again. Uh, uh, so you can see it has again started to run, and this time you will also see after this will done, all the 3 phone numbers will be printed in the output. So it's up to you how many fields you are having. You can see all the 3 phone numbers are also printed in the output. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. So now we have to fetch the data from Excel, not from the data provider. So if I open this one, let me comment this. And here, if I so here I have created one data provider that will help us to fetch the data from the Excel sheet. So first let us see how it is working in debug mode. So what I have done inside this class, I have created one class variable, which is this one. This is the class variable. And here I am just creating the object of this one. So now if you see inside this class, which I have created, it will have all the code which will help us to fetch the data from the Excel. So this is basically a default constructor, right? Same name as the class name, not having any return type, right? Same name as the class name, right? And here I am providing the path when our code will run. So if I debug this, you will see how it is running. I will simply debug this. So let me remove phone number. We do not require it. In our Excel sheet, if you see, only 2 data is present, name and email. So no third data is present. So only 2 fields I will declare here. One is username, other is email, right? And you see, I have again provided the same class. Data provider name is get data. Let me comment remove this. If I go inside, the data provider name is again get data, right? What is this method? I will explain it when we will debug the code. Okay, so let me do one thing. So if I put one breakpoint here, how it is working. So Excel data sheet code we already have seen, so that's why I have copy pasted. Let me first debug this. So here now this time we are trying to get the data from Excel only for this particular test case. So first I have defined for this test case where that data provider is present. So it is present inside test util class. Here is present, and what is the name? The name is get data. So name also I have defined here, right? Data provider name is get data. So now if I run this, right click, debug as test-ng test. And I will put one breakpoint. So I have already put the one breakpoint. So now we came here. Okay, so let me again come to that point. Because now we are not here. Okay, now we are here. Right, so make sure. So what will happen? Why this is running first? Because I am using data provider. So data provider will run first before the test case, because then only it will able to get the data. So first of all, this is the variable. I could have written like this only, Excel reader inside this, but I have written outside, right? So that we can use this variable in some other place. Otherwise, it will be local variable and we cannot use it at some other place. So now I'm creating the object of Excel Reader class. So this class I have created inside the test util. This is a default constructor. So once our object will be created, this default constructor will invoke. So if I click this, so now you can see automatically we came here and the path coming is this one. So here, this is the path where my Excel sheet is present. So this path is coming, I have defined here. This path is coming from this path, right? So because this is a default constructor, so automatically this will invoke and this path will come here. This path variable will come here inside this, right? And what I'm doing now, I have created one path variable, which is a class variable, and I'm simply sending this path variable data to this one, which is our class variable. As of now, you can see it is null. It is null. But once I will invoke this step, we will see this path will have the exact same path where my Excel sheet is present. And here what I'm doing, again, I'm creating the object of file input stream so that we can read our file. This we have also discussed in our Excel data class. So here again, do this. So now this object knows where my file is located. So this file is located at this particular place. And now, so if you remember, when we were working with the Excel data reading, we have to import two dependencies. One is Apache POI and other is POI OXML. So this we have already covered. So I have pasted these two dependencies, then only I can work with the Excel sheet. So make sure you are also putting this dependency. And after that, this we have also discussed, right, how we can read the data. So we are creating the object of this class. So now if I invoke this, so this object I have created here, object of this class, and after that I'm saying workbook dot, this will give me total number of sheets. So how many sheets are present here? If you see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Total 5 sheets are present here. So this method will give me total count of sheets. So if I invoke this, total number should be 5. So you can see count is 5. And after that, after default constructor will finish, we will again come to this line. So this line is executed successfully. And here, what is this next line? See this, if you see this method and what this will do, if I execute this line, what is the sheet name? This is Amazon test case number 2. So why it is giving us this method M? If you see this class, which is this one. So this class needs data provider. The test case name is this. So if you whichever class will call this one data provider, if you provide method M, that will give you the name of the test case. So this method M will simply giving us the name of the test case. And if you see this sheet name, method name as well as this name is similar, right? So then only we can fetch. That is the reason I provided the similar name. So even if your method name is some other, like suppose if your method name is XYZ, right? So at a runtime, your method name will be same, also the sheet number will be same, so you will be able to fetch the data without any issue. So now we are simply getting count to the total number of rows. So for that, again, if you see this, this is the method, this is the object of Excel Reader class, and here this is the method which we have also discussed in our class. So now I want to get the total number of sheets. So now, what is the sheet name? Sheet name is Amazon test case number 2. So here I am saying get the sheet which is present at index number 0. Get the sheet which is present at index number 0. So the sheet is, this is the sheet name, and if the sheet name matches with, if this sheet name matches with the sheet name which my method is same, if they are both are equal, then get me that particular sheet in this variable. So condition true, so you will get the sheet which is sheet number Amazon test case number 2. So now all the conditions will never be matching because condition will never met. So now I get the first row, then I am saying you are having the sheet number 0. So get me the total number of rows. The total number of rows are, if you see how many rows are here, total number of rows are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Total 5 rows we are having. So the count should also be 5. So this way we are getting the total number of rows. So you can see row count is 5. So after that, it will give me the total count. And here in the left hand variable, we will get the total number of rows. So how many rows? Similarly, I am getting the total number of columns. So for the column as well, the method which we are using is, if I go to test util class, let me go inside this method. How we are getting the total number of columns? So this same thing we have also discussed in our lecture. So I have written it directly. So if you see, what is the sheet name again? Sheet name is Amazon test case number 2. Right? So I am again comparing whether the sheet name is equals to the sheet name we are expecting condition true. So now this condition will never met. And after that I am saying get me the row at index number 0. So this row will be present at, this whole row will be written row number 0. So once we will get the row number 0, I am saying from that particular row get me the last cell number, which means last cell number is 2. If you see here, from the first row last cell number is 2, which is having some data. So now if I run it, what is the column count? It is 2. So now we get the total number of rows and total number of column. And here I am creating one array. So if you see, total count is 5 and 4 and columns is 4. So if I create array in this fashion, here it will be 5 minus 1 4, and here it will be columns are 2. So if I click this, we will see how this will look. So it is of array 1, first row, second row, third row, fourth row, 4 rows and 2 columns. Total 4 rows, first row, second row, third row, fourth row, and 2 columns. So why I have created array in this fashion? Because if you see, we are having 5 rows, first, second, third, fourth, fifth. But I do not require these 2. Do I require these 2? I require the data, but not this field. So that is the reason I have created the array of total count 4 and the column is 2. So here we have created the array. So once we will create the array, I will use one for loop to get the data. So if you see this, I want to get this data first. It will be at, if I talk about, it is 0 0, it is 0 1, it is 1 0. Ramesh is at index 1 and column number 0. So if I go inside, again I have written one method. So what is the value of I? 0 0. As of now, for the first time it will be 0 0. If I go inside and if I come here, now it is 0 0 again. So if you see, if I provide 0 0, it will give me this first data, which is name. But I require this particular Ramesh. So what I've done, I am saying rows plus 1, which means 0 plus 1 is 1. So get row number 1. So this is the row number 0. This is the row number 0. And this is the row number 1. So we are getting this first row. And I am placing this in one variable. So this variable will have the first row. And from the first row, when I get the whole of first row, I am saying from this row, get me the cell number 0. Because column was 0. So get me the cell number 0 and get me the value which is present at the cell number 0. So this way it will give you Ramesh. You can see Ramesh came, and after that I am simply placing the data here at 0 0. I am placing the data which is Ramesh. So you can see Ramesh will be here. Ramesh is here. Now similarly, if I run it again, now it will be 0 1. You can see on the right hand side as well, 0 1. If I go inside again, now row value is 0, column value is 1. And again I'm saying I do not want to get the row which is present at index number 0. So I'm saying row plus 1. Now this will give me in second row, which is 0 1. So now again you can see, once I am getting this particular row, which is again the same second row, I want to get this one. So it is at 0, 0. Sorry, it will be 1, 0. Now it will be 1 and 1. So if I want to get index 1, I am saying get me the value presented index number 1. Now this will give you the value. The value will be email. So if you see, email of Ramesh came here. Similarly, it will run for rest of the 4 rows like this. It will run for these 3 rows. It will run if I run it. If I run it, it will return the data. And once it will finish, so I think this is the last iteration. So you can see after that, once this for loop execute completely, we will have this all the data in our this variable, data variable. Right? So first person email, second person, third person, fourth person. So after you get this, you are returning this data. And once you return this data, if I invoke it, this will now this test case will execute one by one. Right? If I come here, now you can see we are here. For the first one, the data will be Ramesh in the email. Now it will run in the similar fashion. Earlier, just we have done. It will run the test case 4 times. But here we have taken the use of here we have taken Excel sheet as our data provider. Again third one, and again fourth one. And one more thing, even if you add some more data here, suppose some person has added one more person, which is Ayush@gmail.com, and if I say one more name, even if you save this, then also your test case will run. How many times it will run now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Total 6 times. So if I save it, our code will not fail. Automatically it will. If I run it from this one. Now you can see total 6 times our test case will run. So this is how we can integrate Excel sheet with a data provider to run our test case multiple times. So you can see that it will run for 6 times. First time, second time, third time, fourth time, fifth time, and after that, family. Right? So this is how you can keep on entering the data into the Excel sheet, but your test case will not fail. So this is how we can integrate our Excel with data provider. Is it clear to everyone? Am I audible?
One question, Sumit. So, what we wrote in test util, right, using the data parameter. So, that can be done in the test case also, right? Like in test case itself, the test file itself, we can write this data, right?
Yeah,
Data provider.
the reason I told you why I am writing in the same file is because see, suppose there is one more test case. Let me say cricket buzz test. Suppose this is other test case. Just assume. So if this is the case, let me remove this. Suppose it will also have some name and email. Name and email. So here it is request cr@gmail.com, and here suppose Ajay. Suppose here this for this test case as well, you need to run this test case multiple times. So you can place this data provider in the same class. But suppose if you want to run the 10 test case, so will you go and write this method again and again? So that is not a good option. So better way to place this similar method in one file. So suppose I want to now run this test case multiple times. So now I will again copy this line. I will tell where my data provider is present. So if I copy this, and right after this, so now this is where the data provider is present, and it will also make sure to use the same file name. So this is the cricket bus test. Let me write it like this. Now if you run this, then also your data provider will work. So otherwise what you have to do, you have to copy paste the same code again and again. So that's why I put in the separate file. So now if I run it, so again you have to provide two more variables because we are getting the data. String name, string email. And now if I print it, now I will again debug this program. So if I debug this time, if you see what is our method name, this is our method name, and it is similar to this one. So the reason I am providing similar is so that we can compare later on. So make sure to provide the same. So now this is the Excel. Let me now again it will run. So now this time what is the sheet name? Sheet name will be the method name. So if I come here, sheet name will be okay. So let me come here again. So what is the row count? It should be 2. So we are not getting any data. Okay, so it is 3. How it is 3 this time? 1, 2, 3. And what is the sheet name? It is cricket bus. So this method will help you to get the method name. So method name is again same, right? So now even if you run this in this fashion, it will again going to get all the data. So make sure to not repeat the code again and again in the framework. So that's why I've created one separate file. So even if in future, if you want to get the same email and name, if you want to write one other test case with the data provider, just use this file. It will work. So you can say it has printed first email. Now it will run again for the second time. So here I am failing the test case, so it might happen it will not work again. Okay, so it is working. So again now for the second person it has printed, and after that it will terminate. So you can see it as after that it will terminate. So this is how we can use. Is it clear? If you
Yes,
want,
sir.
you can write in the same class, but you have to repeat the code. So let us do one thing instead of providing. So we are discussing the framework which is of hybrid approach. So if you see few point here. So the framework we are using is TestNG. We are using here. I'm using the TestNG at the rate test annotation before class TestNG annotation. So this is the framework we are using. But which approach we are using? We are using the hybrid approach. We are using hybrid approach, which is a combination of, like here we are having data-driven framework, data-driven approach. So why data-driven approach is, whatever the activity we have done, we are getting the data from one external source, which is Excel. So this is we are driving the data from external source. So that is the reason I'm calling it as a data-driven approach. And one other approach is keyword-driven. It's a keyword-driven approach. So if my database, sorry, if my approach is a combination of data driven plus keyword driven, then we are calling it as a hybrid approach. but the framework we are using is TestNG. These are just approaches, but TestNG is the framework here. So this is very important. Some people is confused that hybrid is also a framework, but hybrid is a approach. Data driven is a approach. Why we are saying data driven again? I'm telling because we are driving the data from some external resource, like here we are driving the data from the Excel sheet. We can also drive the data from the database. We will see at the end of this lecture how we can drive the data from the database. So we have achieved this approach, like we are fetching the data from the Excel sheet. So how we can achieve this approach? So now what I can do, suppose I need to perform one click operation. So how you define the click operation? Driver dot find element by dot CSS or XPath. You can define any other XPath, and after that you have to say dot click. So instead of writing the same lengthy line again and again, what I have done, first let us do one thing, create one more file, right click and then click on new file. So here you are defining like one file. You can define like XPath, or you can say XPath locator, or you can say CSS. As of now, let us take CSS locator dot properties. So this you can create. So I have created this file with o dot properties, right? Here I have created one. We have created this earlier. Yesterday we have created data dot properties. In the same way, I have created one more object which is called as o dot properties. So here what I will do, suppose I need to click on continue button. So if you see this, I need to click on continue button. So if I want to click on this continue button, I will place the CSS of continue button in the properties file, and from there I will, you can say this is the continue button. So we are taking this ID as the CSS, control F dash ID. So this is our CSS. So that CSS, I have placed it here, and I have given one name to that CSS, that this is the continue button and this is the CSS. Similarly, you can create one separate file for XPath. So here this is a comment. So like click operation on Amazon. So writing comment is important so that even if some other person will see your framework, he will be sure that what this operation is doing. So now I will fetch this locator from the properties file. So this is a properties file. So if you remember in yesterday what we have done to fetch the data from the properties file, if I open that base class again, these are the two steps we have done. One property file is having the browser name, which is Chrome. So if I want to get the other property file, what I have done, I have created one variable outside. For this or.properties, I have created this public static properties or and the file input stream FIS. So I have given some other name. This name is different and this name is different. Now I'm saying creating the object of file input stream. Object name is this, and here I'm providing the path where my or.properties is present. So this is present. I have copied that complete path location from here to here and placed it. After that, I have created the object of properties file. So object can be, which means in the same way I created, just I have written the variable outside. Just 3 steps you need to do again, but make sure the object name will be different. So here the object name is OR, and after that I'm saying load or.load FIS. So here this is the file we are loading, and after that these 3 steps we are done. Now what we have to do, for click method, I have created one method for click method. If I uncomment this, so this method, wherever I want to click on any element, I will use this click method, right? It is just like a method. So I want to pass one locator here. So if you come to this test case, here I am also extending the base class, extends base, so that I can use the or dot get property method. So instead of clicking like this, I will say I will use that click method which we have created, click, and here I will say or dot get property. What is the property you want to get? The property name is this one. This property value I want to get, and here I will write this one. So now if I debug this program again so that we can understand it better. Now I will simply debug this program. Again we are coming from here. So now we are here, right? I am saying once you are here, just get this property continue button. So what is the property? CSS, which we have defined. So if I invoke this, now you can see what is the locator it has given us. This is the locator it has given us. Now I can simply, if you see this last one, as of now, we have not clicked on continue button, but once I invoke this, it will do the same operation and it will click on continue button. So you can see this error you only got once you will click on continue button. So similarly, using this click method, we are calling it as a keyword here, right? If I open this, similarly, you can create many keywords like type for sending some data. You can say send keys is one keyword, or you can say type. This is one keyword you can define in the base class. Like similarly, you can say select if you want to select any data from the drop down. So you can say select keyword. So we are calling these as the keyword in our framework, which means our data we are using keyword approach as well in our framework. Is it clear? So here this is the one click keyword I have created. Is it clear to everyone? Okay, I hope it is clear. So let us see one more topic for today, which is how we can drive the data from the database. As of now, we have done from Excel sheet, but sometimes there might be the case we have to fetch the data from the database. So how we can do? First, let us download MySQL. So we have to download, just type download. So this is their official website. And here if you come down, okay, not this one. If I click this one, okay, so this is the one. So let me share this link so you can download after that class. And after that, so this will have all the data, sorry, all the files which we require. This will present in the big one. So download this one, click it. So it will take some time. So when you will do it for the first time, you can just say no thanks, just start my download. So it will start downloading this. So it is around 435 MB. I am already having this in my machine. So once this .exe file will be downloaded, what you have to do, you have to run it. So if I show you how you have to install it is MySQL download steps. So if let me check where they have showed. Okay, so you can see this is the same link which we have downloaded. After this .exe file will be downloaded, you can come down and just go with the full installation. By default, whatever the option you will see, go with that one and click on next, next. After that, it is saying if one or more products have not been installed. So you can click on continue, and after that, you have to again click on next, click on next again. Again, click on next. Do not change anything, just you have to click on next. But this is important, this step. So ask you for one port number. So by default, it will be 3306. So do not change it. So after this 3306, if I come down again, you have to click on next. And this is also very important. You have to set your password here. So make sure whatever the password you are setting, you can remember that. Otherwise, you have to install it again. So make sure to give simple password so that you can remember. So after giving the password, you have to again click on next. Just do not change anything from here and click on. So here, this is also very important. If I talk about this one. So once you will, it will at some point of time, it will ask you for the username and password, which you have set earlier. So provide the username and password and click on check. If you see green tick, which means you are doing every step correctly while installation. If you see some red cross, which means you have done any mistake, so you have to do it again. So after this, again click on next, next, no, not an issue. And then after it has installed successfully. So this is how you have to follow. I will share this link. So again, so this part is clear to everyone how we have to install this. You can copy. Okay, I hope it is clear. So now what I will do, I will, after installation, I will search this MySQL workbench. So when you will log in for the first time, let me show you. MySQL, open this, and it will ask you for the username and the password. So here one more point, we are not going to discuss entire database because it is also a very separate course. Here we will discuss that is required, which is fetching the data from the database. So it is taking some time. Let me open again. Okay, so it has opened. So by default, you will see this screen for the first time as well. So click on this. Basically, this is a server where you will have all the database. So provide the database name and provide the password which you have set while installation. So I'm providing that password and click on OK. So these are some dummy table I have created. So before working, you will not see this employee data. This I have created, highlighted one. Rest you will see some dummy database already present here, right? So what I will do first, we have to create some table. Then only we can fetch the data. Na? So what we can do, first I will create one database. So for creating a database, you have to give this line. So if I say one more database like XYZ, right? If you want to create the database, if I hit this, here, you will see on the left hand side one database will be created. So refresh it. You can see this is the database XYZ. And after that, if you want to create a table, first you have to say, I want to use the database. So first what you will say, first I want to use the database, and then I will create the table into the database. If I execute this line, right? So I want to use this and I will create one table. So if I execute this line, so this you can read it more if you have not idea. Basically, this command is used to create table. This is the column name. This is the data type, which is variable character. And if I execute this one, it will create one table. And if you want to see what this data table will have, so you have to click this. You have to select this query and click on execute. So as of now, no data is present because I have not provided any data. If you want to provide any data, this is the syntax: insert into table name values. And if I execute this once at a time, you will see it will enter all the data. Now we get some data, dummy data into our table. So now we can start working on this. Before that, what I will do, I will not work on XYZ. I will work on this one, which I created earlier. So I created this database employee info, and I'm using it. You can say I'm using this database, and I want to check whether this database have any table or not. So this database have some table, which is this one. So I will also share. Let me do one thing. Let me share this so you can save it somewhere. So you can copy paste this code when you will, so that you do not have to do hard work in writing the query, because here our agenda is to understand how we can get the data from the database. So for database as well, we have to get one dependency from this website. So the dependency name is MySQL Connector Java. This is the dependency name. So copy this first one, go to the latest version, copy this, and go to your project. This is pom.xml, and here you have to provide this. So I have already provided somewhere here, so I will not do it again. So you have to provide this and save the project. So I think I am already having it here. Okay, I think I am not having. Okay, here it is, right? So provide this dependency, then only you can work with database. So for the database, if I have created one class which is called database.java. Today only I have created before the lecture. So here if you see this one simple code, if you can understand this, that's all you have to do. To fetch the data from the database, first of all, you have to provide one connection string. So this is the syntax of connection string. If you see this, I am saying that I am using JDBC. What is JDBC? It is basically Java database connection. So it is an API. So you can say JDBC. JDBC. So basically, we are working with JDBC so that we can fetch the data from the database, right? So it is an API for the which defines how a client can access a database. So we are using JDBC in our MySQL, and after that, what is this one host? Host is nothing but my local machine. As of now, I am having local machine. So because this is installed in my local machine, not any server, and this is the port. This port is coming from where? When you will do the setup part, here it will ask you for the port at somewhere. If I have shown you here, if you see, this is the same port number, default port number. You have to give it here in your this one, right? So this is the syntax. This is a class driver manager. It is coming from the dependency, and you will get one method which is this one. And inside that method, you have to provide your connection string. So this whole string from here to here is called as the connection string. So if you want, you can also do like this. Instead of providing variable, you can say localhost here, and it is 3306. It's your choice. But I have just kept variable. If you want to do in this way, so once this will invoke this first line, it will return you one connection object. So I am catching it in a variable which is of connection type, which is an interface, right? So this connection is an interface, and I'm creating one variable and catching the object of this line in my left hand side variable. So this object now will give you one method which is create a statement. So if you read what it is basically creating a statement object for sending the SQL statement. Statement means query. Query, if you see here, this is one query. Select all the data from the login table where username is some username. So this will help you to create this below one. So once you will invoke this method, again it will give you one object. The object will be type statement. Again it is an interface. Now once it will return, this object will give you one method which is execute query. Here you have to provide your actual query which you have to run. Suppose I want to fetch all the data from the table, or I want to fetch the data from the table where username is Pankaj. So if you see this, I want to fetch the data where the username is Pankaj. So only this particular data will be fetched. So this is what we are telling. And again, the return type of this one will be this one, result set. I am catching that in one variable. And now if you see this, I want to get the data. So what I can do, if I comment this as of now, if I just debug this program, so after that, I am saying, so what this query will return in, if I copy paste the same query here. So if I say this one, let me write Pankaj. And if I try run it, only one row will be returned. So you can say only Pankaj data is returned. Similarly, I am providing the same line here. So how you have to provide? So all the data will be in double quotes. After that, select start from login, where username equals to Pankaj. So this will given as the username. And after that, if I say get me the username, some error is coming. Let me run it again. Okay, so what you have to do for the first time, you have to do like this: rs dot next. All the data will be present in this rs variable. So if you say rs dot next, if you say, let me take one snapshot of this. So this data is present in your rs variable. It is present in your rs variable, which is nothing but this one, the left hand side. Once you will execute the query, this will hold the data. But if you note, if you say rs dot next, now your rs object, this rs will point to the particular data which we have fetched. So if I click on this, if you say rs dot next, if you say rs dot next, if you say rs dot next, now this will start pointing this data, and it will also return it. Right? So the same thing I am doing here. Rs dot next, I will do it one time, and if I debug this again, now we are here, rs dot next, it will point, and I'm saying once you are started to point to this, get me the first username value, and then email, and then password. So first I'm getting the username, so username will be Pankaj. Username will be Pankaj, and if I say after this email, email it will print, and after that password. So this is how you can print the data of any particular person from this table. But sometimes you want to get the data of each and every record. Just provide this statement, select star from login. If you do like this, what will happen? Okay, so let me do one thing. I will again take the snapshot. If I take the snapshot, now this is the multiple data because I've clearly told it here that I want to get all the data. Select star from login. So I've say rs.next one time. If I say go down, it will give me first Sumit. Why it is giving me Sumit? Because rs for the first time is pointing to this one, right? So Sumit and then email and then password, email and then password. But if you see, I want to print all the data. So will this be run again? No, it will not run. Simply our program will end. So what we can do, we can use one while loop if we want to write all the data. While rs.next, and here I will provide all the data. So now if I run it, automatically it will keep a check on each and every data and it will print. It will run until your data will not be present in the table. It will run up to that time. So you can see it has printed all the data which we are having in our table. So this is how you can fetch the data. Once you fetch the data, you can simply use in your variable, in your test case, like if you want to say, if I say one driver dot find element y dot xpath, some xpath here, and then I will say dot send keys. Suppose I want to send some username which is Pankaj, where equals to Pankaj. So Pankaj name will be present in this one username. So I can say send keys username. So this is how we can. So you can complete this at the after the class. That how we can send the data. Once you will receive the data and the username, you can say send keys and the username. So that is how you can get the data from the database. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes.
Let me share this code as well.
Sir, please add and share the zip of the code.
Yeah, I will share. Okay, a
Okay.
better way to share the zip file. I will share the zip file yesterday like that.
Yeah, add that. Okay.
So guys, that's all for today. I think we have covered each and every topic. If you have any query, you can ask.
Uh, yes, Sumit sir. I'm actually trying to extract the yesterday shared code into my local, and I know what else, what are the errors I am getting, but I'm trying by my side. If I get anything, I will ping you. Okay?
Okay, ping me. Okay.
Yes, yes, sir.
If you are getting do one thing, sometimes still you will get the error. Right click, Maven, update project. Sometimes errors will go away with this, and click on OK.
Okay.
Try this.
Okay. And normally, whatever zip you have shared, it should run, right? It should run, right, at any PC.
Sorry.
Without normally what the zip code you have shared, it will run on any machine, right? Without doing any changes. That is all the things we are maintaining in pom.xml and all
Yeah,
this.
yeah. It is
It
complete.
should run, right?
Yeah, it should run.
Okay, okay, sir. I will try. Okay.
So if anyone have any query, they can ask. Otherwise, we have finished this one. Yeah.
Mm, no, thank you, sir.
Okay. So thank you everyone for
How many
attending.
more, Sumit, how many more classes we have now? And
So,
what topics we have left?
the topics we have covered, every topic we have covered, I think. So in the next class, we will provide you one project. You have to make a team of 5. So we will be explaining that project the next week. So you have to complete that project. Okay.
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 Okay. Okay.
So it will be group work. Is it?
Yeah, all the details I will mention in the Telegram group. How to
Okay.
form, which person we have to form, right?
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
okay, Sumit sir, before that, can you please let us know that what things, what topics, and what points we have to cover before doing the project, as we have 1 week for the next task. So, should we repeat again the framework from scratch to the what things we have did today? Can we repeat those things, or do we have to read and do some extra things as well for that?
So whatever we have covered, that is sufficient from start to beginning, from beginning to end. That is sufficient.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, 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 sir.
So Sumit, how we will work in like Git? How it will come in picture? Like now everything is ready. So can you show us the commands how we will use that now?
Which command?
Git commands.
Yeah, next week. So when you have joined Puja,
Mm-hmm.
I want to know which batch you have joined. Means that from the Selenium you have joined or from the Java.
From Selenium.
Okay, so we will have separate session for that. Those people have joined from Selenium. After that, probably next week we will have. Not an issue.
Okay.
Just pin on the
Thank you.
Telegram group if we forgot to do, because there are I think
Mm-hmm.
10 people who are asking the same query. So we will discuss in the next lecture. Okay.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, guys. So thank you so much.
Okay, sir. Please share the zip as well on
Yeah,
the
I will
group.
share.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
will share.
Okay.
Bye.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.